What's poppin', everybody? It's your favorite tomboy, Barbie, CoCo Louie, and thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Louie Chronicles. First and foremost, Happy New Year, Happy New Year, Happy New Year, Happy New Year. This is the first one of the new year. We are still safe, social distancing. I'm about to say safe distancing, but I am so excited for today because today I have the pleasure to be talking to the Miss Maurielle Stewart.
It's a pleasure.
No,
It's a
I'm
pleasure.
so honored. You guys are in for a really informative and cute treat. She's coming packed with a ton of information that I promise is going to help you or somebody you know or your neighbor, whoever. It's going to help us all, especially with everything that's going on right now. So again, thank you so much for even coming on.
Thank
Before we
you.
get started, we're gonna play just a cute little game, just to, warm us up a bit, because it's cold
Okay.
outside. So this game is called 3, 2, 1. And it's very simple. It's just like top five. So I'll ask you what's three of whatever, two of whatever, one of whatever. So
Okay.
three, what are the three things you're taking away from 2020? What has it taught you now that we're in 2021? What have you learned from 2020?
Ooh, okay. So I've learned about consistency.
Okay.
I've learned about doing things when I don't feel like doing them. Doing the things I'm committed to, that I've made commitments to when I don't feel like doing them. And I've learned about being able to receive help.
Okay. Okay. And I
Mhm.
think that that is a big one because I know sometimes, especially for myself, I like to do it all by myself just because I don't want to feel like I'm
Yes,
failing at the hands of someone else. But sometimes that can be a little bit overwhelming and a lot to take.
absolutely.
So I'm glad you said that because I think that is a constant thing that I'm learning, or at least how to handle that. So
Mhm.
that's beautiful. Okay. Top two things that are your guilty pleasures.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
My first one is probably milkshakes.
Okay.
So I'm a bit of an emotional eater,
Okay.
and when I'm really in my feels or like really want something very decadent, I always go to a milkshake.
Okay. Okay. What's your
Um,
favorite kind?
Oreo with banana.
Okay, that's
Right.
interesting. I thought you was gonna stop Oreo, but with banana. Now, banana
With
can be a little
banana.
overpowering sometimes, but I feel like that's probably really good. I'm gonna have to try that. Okay. Okay. And your second.
It's delicious. Honestly, it may sound weird. It may sound weird, but it is so good. Like I have hunted, like I was studying abroad at one point and I was like hunting for these ingredients like from the corner store. So
Mhm.
like just trust me.
Okay.
And then the second guilty pleasure is probably reality TV. I'm a fan of the Real Housewives
It's
franchises.
okay. We all are. We all are. I was on a break the last month of 2020. So I had to catch up recently on what I missed from Potomac. And whoo, that was a lot. That was a lot. It was a lot. But I mean that is what Bravo is here for, to give us what we need to
Exactly.
indulge in those
Exactly.
guilty pleasures. So that is perfectly fine. And number one, the one thing you cannot live without.
Ooh, these are really great questions. Okay. I can't live without my family.
Okay.
I'm an only child. Were you looking for like a material thing?
No, it's what the
Oh,
one
okay.
thing you can't live without, whatever
Okay.
that is for you. So family, that's
Okay.
beautiful.
Yeah, what's coming up for me is my family. I'm an only child and I'm very close with my parents.
Okay.
And just us being like a team and a tribe, having them as my support network is very important. Like just that fun friend relationship that we have is
Okay.
so wonderful.
Yes. Okay. First of all, I love that because I'm a family oriented person. I'm not an only child. I wish, but I'm not only child. But family is definitely important for me. So I probably would say the same thing. That or my phone.
Mhm.
That would be the
I
make
was
phone.
gonna go to the phone first, but I was like, let me give her a more enlightened answer. Like, I don't want to admit that I can't live without
What?
it. So,
Listen, it's okay. It's okay. It's all right. Denial is not just the river. And when you can, accept what it is that it is, it's okay. But I mean, I'm not the pro at this. from where we're going to go with this, you're more along the lines of a pro when it comes to addressing these things and helping us get our lives together and coaching us through. So with
Yes.
that being said, you first of all are amazing. You guys, if you're not familiar with Maurielle Stewart, you need to be. You have a coaching business, and
Mhm.
you've done a plethora of things. You've been in politics a little bit, and just really advocating for the people. So tell us a little bit about that, like your journey through where you first started, like advocating for people, and then where you are now with coaching.
Yeah, so it's actually a pretty interesting story. I'll try to tell it as succinctly as I can, but like you alluded to, I'm a recovering politico. So my career up until about a year ago was in politics and government.
Mm-hmm.
I was an elected official for about 4 years and was just like on this hard government track. And like my identity was so tied to the work I was doing
Mm-hmm.
as a public servant. And so I've always been super passionate about self-development, trying to really understand myself and how I'm wired. And so I've been in therapy for years, just as like a healthy way of regulating and understanding myself. And so all this personal development work I was doing
Mm-hmm.
started to grate against the work I was doing in public space, and who
Okay.
I was becoming stopped matching. And I started feeling this tension between what I was becoming and the work I was doing, and it just wasn't fitting together anymore. Like the story I've been telling myself about who I was and what was important to me stopped working,
Okay.
stopped working. So in about 2018, everything really came to a head. And so I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression that year.
Oh
I was
wow.
having panic attacks. I mean, it got so low, like I was crying in the stairwell at work all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I need to make a mindful reset. And so when that appointment was over, I found a new job in philanthropy and entrepreneurship. And that's when I found out about coaching.
Okay.
And my work at the time had a partnership with the school from which I graduated. And
Mm-hmm.
so I was able to go and get my certificate in integral coaching. And I'm just a few hours away, actually one test away from getting my associate credential. I'm trying to be credentialed up,
Yes.
okay?
No,
And
you have to be. You have to be.
yeah, I'm working with people's consciousness, and I take that very seriously.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so that's what brings me to this moment. I just immediately knew that that was my vocation. Like this
Mm-hmm.
is what I'm meant to do, and the universe made a way for me to do it full time by firing me from the job I was working at the time. And
Okay.
it was like, you're going to go full force at this, whether you like it or not. So just like get it together because this is what you're meant to do. So go do it.
Okay. So now I'm glad you touched on that because a lot of times when people are pursuing careers, but I don't want to say it's like their dream career or whatever,
Mhm.
and their passion, there's always like a turmoil somewhere. So was it for you, you said like this whole situation with your job, kind of propelled you into this. But did you ever, once you were in your self-discovery, did you ever have a moment where it's like, okay, like you can now feel like it's uncomfortable, like this is just not going to work, and kind of trying to ask yourself, okay, well, how am I going to get out of this? Or were you just like still dealing with the fact like, okay, well, this is comfortable. I'm able to do whatever I need to do. And I'll just, do whatever with this, try to make it work. Like, what was that headspace for you like?
Oh, that's a great question. Excuse me. I think for a little bit, I was trying to make myself fit. I felt like a round peg trying to jam myself into a square space.
Mm-hmm.
Like which way can I contort myself to make myself fit into these roles? And so for a while, for like in terms of comfort and stability and security, I tried to make it work. And also, like I mentioned earlier, my identity was so tied to this work I was doing. So I felt
Mm-hmm.
like this is what I was supposed to be doing. This is the track I'm supposed to be on. I'm supposed to get the good government job, build my career, have the stability, go up the rungs of achievement,
Yeah.
live a stable life. And then I started learning things about fulfillment. And
Mm-hmm.
then I started getting in touch with more again with who I was. And I started realizing a lot came to me when I started getting the language for what I was understanding. And I was learning that my peace was at stake.
Okay.
And once I was able to put a marker on, your peace you're sacrificing your peace for this job, and nothing is worth that.
Okay. So now, because that situation is an unfortunate situation, to be let go from a job, but the beauty in that is that it has propelled you to now you have your own business. So tell us about that, please.
Absolutely. Yeah. And part of the work I do with my clients is like getting them to see the opportunities that come from adversity and trying to think about, the adverse situations that happen to them in a more positive way. Like, how are you going to use this situation to get you where you're trying to go? And so that's essentially what I'm doing. I founded Inquire Within Coaching last spring, right after I graduated from my program. And here I want to help people grow into the most realized version of themselves. I specifically work with leaders to help them maximize their impact. And what's cool about this method of coaching is I help people practically achieve their goals, but also help them develop into the person they need to be to achieve those goals. Yes. So there's practical skill building, but there's also deep self-development in this work. And that's my favorite part.
Yes. Okay, so now because of that, now I was reading, I'm a little privy to this, but those that are watching may not know right now, you have a partnership with the PG County Job Center. So tell us more about that, because as you know, with COVID, and then I'm going to circle back to that too, because that's a whole nother situation with COVID and the loss of jobs and just everything just being up in the air. I think that this is definitely a beautiful situation. So expound upon that for me.
Yeah. So what's cool about this is I saw the need for this program because of my unemployment story. Had I not gone through that, there's no way I would have had the perspective to know, okay, there's a gap that needs to be filled here. So what's cool about the program is it's the first time working with the American Job Center that they've offered life coaching services to their job seekers. Okay. And so this is essentially your job search from the inside out. We're not just talking about practical skills like how to maximize your resume, how to interview. We're talking about how to deal with the very complicated emotions that come with job loss, with how to navigate identity changes, with how to rethink your situation, with how to create your own definition of success. So it's a much more holistic approach, the job search. And I'm really excited that I was able to craft this program specifically for the American Job Center in Largo. And it's a free program to anyone within Prince George's County that is looking for a job and wants to re-envision their search and also maybe re-envision who they are.
So now, question, because, we are just getting out of 2020, and you founded Inquire Within last year. So what was that whole process like doing all of that through, a pandemic? And then what has it been like with you dealing with your clients and they're telling you their stories now? Because it's not just a regular, I lost my job because of this and the third. Most of the time now it's coming from because of COVID, like there's no money or there's budget cuts or whatever. Like, what is that? What has that been like?
I mean, it's been challenging. It's been challenging, especially because there's not necessarily an end in sight, so I can't necessarily comfort someone who's lost a job due to cuts and say, oh, on this date, your job will be restored. Don't worry about it. We'll just get, work until you get to that point. So it has been challenging. I think you asked about what was it like to start my business during a pandemic?
Because that's a big feat. First of all, let's clap it up for you, because that is a huge thing. Anybody that started a business last year, I have to commend, because last year was we're just getting out of it, but it was a lot. It was a lot to unpack and to go through. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was a challenge. I mean, I'm very much still figuring it all out. I'm a baby in the game, and so I have been blessed with a lot of mentors, some of which I just naturally connected with, some of which I seeked out. And so I really credit them, the people that I've surrounded myself that guided me through that process. But at that time, I literally told myself, I don't have another option, because I was interviewing. I'd applied for maybe 100, 150 jobs. I was getting interviews and getting told no. So I made the decision at that point. I had one rejection that like sent me into a tizzy. I had a panic attack. Like, I was just heartbroken. And I was like, all right, I can continue to what I call bang my head up against the wall here, or I can take a step back and say, what's being communicated to me right now?
Mm-hmm.
And in my heart of hearts, I knew that I wasn't going to stay at any of those jobs.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to go to that job, get my finances back in order so I could start my business. And I said, well, why don't I just start the business? So I didn't, to me, I didn't have another choice. If I had continued on that route, I would have just been banging my head up against the wall, literally like pushing a rock up a hill. So it was through stepping back and being like, you know what? Let me jump out on faith. Let me take the risk. I'm very risk averse typically. So I said, you know what? Let's just go for it. Like, why not? There's literally nothing else I can lose. Like, nothing else I can lose. So let's just try it.
Okay, that's, first of all, I think that's super dope because, again, starting a business is a big risk, but again, doing it in a pandemic, and this is nothing that anybody is used to, has ever experienced before. So everything, in a sense, is trial and error when it comes to doing whatever, and we're all in it at the same time trying to figure it out. There is no right way, wrong way, because no one, like I said, has ever been through this or experienced this. So again, that is a feat within itself, and I commend you for that. Before we wrap this up really quick, I want to know, what are the goals, because we are now in a new year and we are speaking positivity over this year. 2021 is here. What are some of your goals for Inquire Within, number one? And then with this partnership, what are you hoping to accomplish with Lord Jesus, I cannot think of the name, with the Job Center, American Job Center?
Yes, American Job Center. Okay, so for with Inquire Within Coaching, I want to build out my clientele base. I have a handful of really amazing clients, but I have room to serve so many more people. And so I really want to be able to work on self-development plans with as many people as possible. And that looks like career coaching, that looks like just general wellness and mental health discussions. I really want to be able to serve as many people as possible, because then those people go out and create ripples in their communities, So as many people as I can help, what I call get free, that also encourages other people to go out and get free. And we have just freeness and love, freedom and love just radiating. And I believe that will just do so much for our community. And with the American Job Center specifically, the same thing. I want this workshop to go to touch as many job seekers as possible. And I'm going to speak it now. I'm going to have partnerships with other American Job Centers.
Yes.
I just really see this because it is so needed and no one's having this discussion. And so I really want to make this experience as rich as possible for these job seekers so it can spread. There's no reason why this can't be a thing,
No, seriously, because I don't think anybody really has the conversation as to how you are dealing with this. We're not even going to get into the fact that a lot of people, well, let me not say a lot of people, prior to the millennial generation, I feel like it's safe to say, like, our parents and our grandparents and things like that, taboo, therapy was taboo. And so it was like, they don't really talk about it, or they don't want to talk to a shrink or whoever. But I have to commend our generation because we're really taking mental health to the highest degree. Like, no, like, I'm not playing with y'all today. I'm going to a therapist. And, when it comes to job loss, it's just, all right, you lost your job, unemployment's over that way. Best of luck to you. Nobody's really having the conversation to help you navigate through those emotions and that headspace. So I think it's necessary, and I think it's a wonderful program. And we're gonna push and we're gonna speak that it's gonna be everywhere, partnerships everywhere. So before we wrap it up, we're gonna play one more game.
Okay. And before we do, I just want to say, you just hit a great point, is that No one is speaking to the human that's applying for the job. You're not
Yes,
just this, you're not just a statistic, you know, you are a human. And I want in part, and my course helps you to deal with your humanity as someone
yes.
who's looking for a job. So
Yeah.
I just want to say that.
No, thank you. Because like you said, this, I'm telling you, I was geeked up for this conversation because it was so necessary. A lot of times, what I've noticed, or what 2020 should have opened our eyes to, is that people are not as compassionate as they should be. They don't show a heart of gratitude as they should, and it's just like people, they just go on with their day to day like it's nothing, and it's just like, on top of you acting like that, we're all dealing with something so crazy at the same time, and we're all affected, whether you are now working from home only, or you lost your job, or your hours were cut, or your pay was cut. Like, something, you're affected in some kind of way. And even if it's not you directly in a negative way per se, you know someone that is. And it's just like, it's
Absolutely.
just a lot. It's a lot to process. And then because people are in the house, it's just a lot. It's been a lot. Like, I think I talked about this a while ago. I was like, I know all of this that's going on is not healthy for the brain. Can't nobody tell me otherwise. It's too much to process at
Yeah.
one time and still go on like everything is okay. Like, it's too much. But
Mm-hmm.
you know that is a good point as well, to touch the human inside. So like I said, the last game is called Your Last. So I'm just gonna
Okay.
toss you something. You just say what your last is. Okay.
Okay.
The first one is the last song that you sang out loud.
Oh, I can't. Okay.
You don't have to say if you
Probably.
don't want to. You can just name it.
Okay. So, Dua Lipa,
Okay.
Love Again,
Okay. Okay. The last dessert that you made.
that I made.
Hmm.
I can't think of a dessert that I've made.
Okay, so we'll say the last dessert that you had.
Okay. Chocolate pirouettes.
Ooh, okay, okay. The last series that you watched on Netflix.
This is so sad. I don't know why this stuff is not coming so fast to my mind. Okay, the last
It's
series I
okay.
watched, um, West Wing.
Okay, okay. The last phone conversation you had.
This is terrible. I last talked to my mother.
Okay, okay. And the last person that you said I love you to.
My special friend.
Hey, special friend. Okay. So, thank you again so much for this
Thank you.
conversation, because it was definitely necessary and needed. And before we go, I need you to let everybody know, number one, where they can find out how to find you if they want to become your client, how they can find out about the program as well, like all that stuff. Drop all the information, because this is needed. This is
I
needed. Push
got
it to the
you.
front. Push it to the
I
front.
got you. You can find me on Instagram at Hey Coach Mauri. You can also find me on my website at heycoachmauri.com. I'm Hey Coach Mauri everywhere. You
Okay.
can find out information about my course on my website also.
Okay.
And if you go to the trainings tab, drop down AJC and put in success with a capital S, you can register for a course.
Boom. Okay. And you
Boom. You can
guys,
also register for a free consultation with me from my website, and you can hit book me in my IG bio and get a
yes.
consult.
Okay. She is here for us all. Okay.
I'm here.
Please.
I'm accessible.
Okay, please do yourself a favor, do your friend a favor, and go check her out. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Again, if you know somebody who is going through a job loss or can really benefit from this, also share this information as
Yes.
well. You guys can follow me, your favorite Tomboy Barbie, on Instagram at the CoCo_Louie. That's THECOCO_LOUIE. Twitter, it's CoCo Louie, CoCo_Louie. Sorry. Clubhouse, because now that is a thing. It's CoCo_Louie. And of course, if you're watching this, then you already should be subscribed to the Louie Chronicles. Make sure you like, share, tell a friend. And again, please, 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 please make sure you check out this program because it is very beneficial. And again, thank you so much, Maurielle.
Thank you, CoCo Louie. Be
Bye,
well
guys.
and be safe. Bye, everyone.